As evening falls in Baltimore and another 10 p.m. curfew approaches, the latest round of protests is beginning. This is a live picture downtown Baltimore as hundreds, maybe more than 1,000 protesters have gathered and begun a march to City Hall, all of it peaceful at this point. The protesters want answers about the death of Freddie Gray in police custody, but they won't be getting those answers as soon as many thought. Late today, the police said the results of their investigation will go straight to prosecutors, not to the public. 6 officers involved in Gray's arrest were suspended. 2 days after the rioting, the city is slowly returning to normal. Jeff Pegues is there. Jeff?
Scott, this is a community that still bears the scars of the 1968 riots, and we're just hours away from another mandated curfew put in place to prevent more violence. Last night, there were still a few clashes with police, another sign of a community still on edge. As kids went back to school today, police remained on high alert for renewed violence around the city. But afternoon protests were peaceful, allowing officials to turn their attention to Friday, when the police department will hand over the results of its investigation into Freddie Gray's death to the state's attorney's office. Today, Captain Eric Kowalczyk said the findings would not be made public.
We cannot release all of the information from this investigation to the public, because if there is a decision to charge in any event by the state's attorney's office, the integrity of that investigation has to be protected.
Cornell Brooks is the president of the NAACP, which is headquartered in Baltimore. He worries how protesters will react to the lack of information.
They should not expect an indictment. They should not expect arrest. They should not expect anyone called into account. They should not expect satisfying answers to unsettling questions. All they can expect is a step forward.
We met Brooks in West Baltimore, where 23% of black men ages 16 to 64 are unemployed. 1 out of 4 doesn't have a high school diploma.
We have a community that is nearly empty of jobs. That's a problem. And so there's this long simmering anger, resentment, where people don't feel that they have full access to what most Americans and what people here would call the American dream. People need jobs. They need opportunity.
What happens in communities like this?
I think what happens in communities like this is the lid stays on for some period of time, and then things bubble and boil over.
We sense that frustration in Kevin Oliver and others here who believe someone is to blame for Freddie Gray's death.
To me, it's self-explanatory. It just is who's going to be accountable for what happened to him now.
The state's attorney's office is conducting its own investigation, and that's separate from the investigation that the Baltimore City Police Department is conducting. And Scott, it's also not clear when those results will be made public.
There were 35 arrests after the curfew last night. Jeff Pegues, thanks very much, Jeff.